Hey designers, and welcome back. Happy Monday. You know what that means. Go grab your favorite cup of hot cocoa, a few of your favorite cookies, pull up a chair, and sit and chat with me a while in today's episode of Cocoa and Cookies. Well, I hope your week is off to a great start. I know many of you dread Mondays, but I actually love Mondays. Mondays are a little rough for me, I have to admit. You guys know we have such a busy, long day on Sundays, and they wipe me out. So Monday morning's kind of a little hard getting going, but I actually love Mondays and love a fresh start to a new week full of so many possibilities. Here's my mug today. I always like to show you guys my mug. Steve and I got this set of mugs, it's a his and hers, last year after Christmas. They were on, no, it actually wasn't after Christmas, it was before Christmas. We picked these up while we were out Christmas shopping. Yes, I remember now. We looked for some more this year. This is Steve's favorite style of mug. Very thick and just kind of rounded, fits in his hand real good. But after Christmas, they were already gone this year. Anyway, we got these at Big Lots, and mine has that beautiful pink high heel. You guys know I love my shoes. Anyway, full of water again today. We've got 3 more days on the fast. Well, today, Tuesday, and Wednesday. It ends Wednesday evening. So I gotta tell you, it's been a long 21 days. We did take a little break from the fast over the weekend. You guys know that if you went with us to Orlando. So we took just a little break while we were there, but got right back on it as soon as we got home. And it's been a long one, but a good one and a rewarding one. I tell you what, it's always good to separate yourself and to do some fasting, especially at the first of the year, to kind of reset your focus for spiritual things throughout the new and upcoming year. So it's been a good experience. And it's cold here, you guys. If you watched the vlog last night over on the vlog channel, then you know we had one monster of a storm come through here. Of course, those of you that have been watching the news are probably already familiar with that storm system. It went through Georgia and Mississippi and caused a lot of damage and unfortunately some loss of life. And we got the tail end of that storm last night. So I showed you guys on the vlog all the wind and rain. Wow. Fortunately, we didn't have damage here at our home, just the wind and rain, which we need the rain. So no fussing over the rain, but it brought with it some cold weather, which I'm kind of glad because it has been uncharacteristically hot. We've talked about that. Been warm around here. So I'm glad for the little bit of a change, but just wasn't quite expecting the house to be so cold when I woke up this morning. Anyway, we are ready to get started, you guys. I have sent out the call for questions on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, as usual, every Monday, and I am about to go and see what you guys want to know and fill you in. Jumping over here to all these different social media outlets. You guys may still hear the wind. It is blowing like crazy again this morning, so you'll have to bear with the noise. All right, we're going to look at Instagram first. There's a couple of questions that's coming over there. Let's see, the first one says, it is Girl Scout cookie season in Arizona. What's your favorite Girl Scout cookies, and refrigerated or not? Well, now, I think we all can just probably say this together, because I'm sure you all know what I'm going to say. Thin Mints, of course, because they're chocolate. Oh, yes, yes, yes. I actually enjoy pretty much all of the Girl Scout cookies. I don't think that there's one that I don't like. I do like them all, but if I could only pick one, it would be the Thin Mints, and that's usually what we buy every year around here whenever they go on sale. Refrigerated or not, I like them either way, but I think I would have to prefer them unrefrigerated. I'd rather just have them straight up room temperature, but I do like them cold too. So great question. I haven't been asked that one before. All right, and the next question says, if you had to leave Florida and live in another state, what would it be? That is a really good question. Let's see. I definitely wouldn't want to go anywhere where it's cold most of the time, and I don't like mountainous areas. I like to visit them because I do like to see the majesty of the mountains and get up high on top of the mountains when you look out over and you just look at all of God's creation. It is amazing, but I wouldn't want to live there because we vacationed there. And I cannot stand how the mountains block out some of the sun. I mean, unless you're on the very tip top of the mountain. If you're anywhere else, especially down in the valley, those mountains block out a lot of the sunlight at certain times of the day, just depending. And I don't like that. I love lots of sun. So I don't really know where else I would want to live because I love it here. But I guess if I had to choose somewhere, I would have to probably go with California, because it's still beachy, there's still lots of sand and palm trees, lots of sun, and you can live near the coast where you don't have to worry about the areas of California that do have the mountains and cliffs and all that. So I guess I would have to say California. All right, the next question is also from Instagram, and it says, if you could go back in time, what would you change about your life or do differently? Great question. I've actually been asked this question before in a previous Q&A, and that was a little while ago. And I think even after some time has passed and still reevaluating life, I think my answer still would have to be the same. I would not change a thing. There are things that you think, oh man, I wish I could do that differently. But in reality, do you? Because even the mistakes that you've made have really helped to all make you who you are today. And I'm very happy with life today, happy with the knowledge that I have obtained through the years and the wisdom that has come and just, you know, everything that is my life right now. And I think it wouldn't be what it is right now had it not been for all the situations that have happened. So, you know, it's kind of like whenever you watch some of those movies and they go back in time in the time machines and they do one thing different and then it alters all of the future and things are different. I kind of think that's how it would be. If anything had been altered or changed from the past, then my life as I know it right now would be different. It could be much, much better. It could be much worse. You know, you don't know. That's a chance you would have to take. So I think I would just leave everything alone because I do enjoy how our life is right now. So great question. All right, let's hop on over to Twitter. All right, nothing on Twitter, but there rarely ever is. I think most of you guys are on Facebook and Instagram. Twitter hardly ever has anything over there. So let's hop on over to Facebook and let's see if we have any questions that have come in over there. Yes, we have some questions on Facebook, so let's just start and work down the list. All right, there's a question that has come in, says, I have seen baby girl bake cookies and such, but does she ever prepare dinner or does she like to bake and play with desserts instead? Great question. Yes, she does cook dinner and she cooks it very often because I am usually busy working, and while I'm working, she will help me out by preparing dinner. And we have showed several of her meals during different vlogs. So if you guys watch the vlogs, if you're not subscribed yet over on the vlog channel, then you'll want to do that because occasionally I will show you guys some of the meals that she has prepared for us, and she does. She loves to cook and loves to be in the kitchen, and she does a fantastic job. So great question. Somebody had asked me in another somewhere, and I can't even remember if it was on one of these that had come in late after I had gotten finished filming or where that question was, but somebody did ask the question. They knew how much she loved to bake and had she ever thought about becoming a chef or going to cooking school. She actually did think about that for a while. When she was a little younger, her plan was to go to Le Cordon Bleu to become a chef. She was probably about, I don't know, maybe around 12, I guess, at the time, because she's always loved to do stuff like that. But then, of course, the older she got, her plans changed, and she doesn't want to pursue that as a career, but she does still have a lot of fun with it and plays around with it as much as she can. Great question. All right, let's see the next question on here. If you knew you had 1 week to live, what are the 3 most important things you would want to make sure you did? Wow, that is a great question. That's a deep question. If I had 1 week to live, the 3 most important things that I would want to do. Well, first and foremost, I would want to make sure that my family knew how much I loved them. Absolutely, hands down. I would take every moment that I had to tell them verbally, but I also would sit down and would write them out, things from my heart, and to let them know, so that it would be in written form that they could always have. Because even though people speak things to you verbally and it does stay with you, there's still a certain aspect of that you lose, because your brain, even though your brain really does remember everything, your conscious awareness can't always bring it up, if you know what I mean. So I would want to tell them verbally and have the conversations with them, love on them as much as I could during that time. But I also would take some time to write it down, so that 10, 15 years down the road, 20 years down the road, they would still have those letters from me and could go back and know exactly why I was proud of them, how much I love them, and all of that stuff. So that I would definitely want to do. The second thing that I think I would want to do if I only had one more week to live is I would make sure to reiterate to my kids and the people in our sphere of influence, the ones that are in our youth ministry and the ones that are the closest to us, that spend the most time with me, that we have poured our lives into, I would want to make sure that they all remembered the importance of the Great Commission, and to remind them of the importance of carrying on the work that I do when I'm gone. Because my purpose in life, my calling in life, is to share with people about Jesus Christ and to make sure that they come into a relationship with Him. And I don't want that to stop when I cease to live here on this earth. I want that work to continue. So I would definitely take some time during that week to reiterate that to everyone around me in my sphere of influence, to remind them of what's really the most important thing. And the most important thing is making sure that people have a chance to hear the gospel. And I would want them to know the importance of continuing that work. And I guess going along with that, still as part of number 2, would be that I would continue to share with everyone I could during that week, to make my last week the most productive that it could be as far as spreading that gospel message. That would absolutely be a criteria. And then the third thing, telling my family how much I love them, making sure they know about the importance of spreading the gospel. And then a third thing that I would really want to do, I'm not really sure. That is such a tough question. That really makes you stop and think that if you only had 1 week, what would you want to spend that time doing? Because I think if I was spending my time concentrating on those first 2 things, I'm not really sure. I think I would probably ask the Lord to show me any areas where I have hurt and offended people, or where there has been any type of breach in a relationship that would be within my realm of possibility to fix in any way, to make sure that I departed life without leaving apologies undone, and making right every situation that I could. I try to do that every day as I live anyway, and try to make sure that those things are set in order to the best of my ability to do things that I'm aware of. Sometimes we offend people and we're not even aware that we have, but I think that I would definitely want to do that. Close up everything, leave nothing undone before I were to depart this life and head on to the next one. So that is a great question. That one made me stop and think. Love it, love it. All right, the next question here says, why did you start doing YouTube videos, and where do you find the motivation? That's a really good question. And it's kind of a long story. I first started my YouTube channel in 2008. And I started it and started making those videos, which a lot of those have been removed. I think I only have one more on there. And to tell you the truth, I might have even removed that one. We had done a party here at the house with our young adult students, or some of them weren't students, they were young adults. Anyway, we had a party here at our house and we did a marshmallow and Coke contest. And I recorded that and had that up on the channel. You guys go take a look. I'll look for it. If it's still on there, then I'll link that for you down below. That one was so fun. And that's why I originally started the channel, because that was back in the days of MySpace. I don't know how many of you will remember MySpace, but on MySpace, you could design your own page and you could embed videos right there on the home page of your MySpace. And I had created one for our young adult program, and I would put videos on there of some of the young adults and the fun things that we were doing so that people could see it when they visited the page. So that's why I created a YouTube account, and those were the first kind of videos that I did. Then I kind of left it alone for a while, and in 2012 I made some really great friends through nail art because I loved nail polish and so did they. And we kind of came together, formed a little group, and Mo, my friend Mo, shout out to you Mo if you're watching, she had suggested that some of the nail designs that I was doing that I do a tutorial on so that people could see how to do them. And I thought, well, that is a great idea. I was very nervous about doing it, and those first several videos are awful. They're long and drawn out and just awful, but that's kind of what kick-started doing YouTube on a more regular basis. And I did the nail art for a while. Then that kind of evolved into the couponing and trying to teach people how to save with their money and all that, and then it's just continued to evolve into what you see it today. So great question. That's kind of where it all started. Where do I find the motivation? Well, first of all, I love making video. I love the filming. I love the editing. I love the camera. I often tease with people, I was born for the camera. I love everything about it. I really do. I have really great time. So that motivates me. And in all honesty, because you guys know I shoot straight around here, another motivation for me on days when I just don't feel like doing it, whenever I'm just tired or it's been an extremely long week, another motivation for me has to be, it does provide a small income. Not a lot. There's not a lot of money that comes in through YouTube at all, but it is enough that it does help us some, because you guys know that I am a homeschooling mom. So I'm here with the kids, and living on one salary with all of the house reconstruction that we've had to do has been an extreme strain on us financially. It has been, I can't even explain to you the amount of pressure that has been. So YouTube does provide a small income, not a lot, but enough to where on the days that I'm just tired and exhausted and don't feel like going, there is a motivation there to keep working, because it is a job for me. It is a way that I can at least help bring in a little money to help out with everything we're going through. So those are the motivations that keep me going. Right, great question. And now we got another one. It says, with so many boys getting hurt playing soccer, do you ever think about pulling Bub out and not letting him play? Every day. Every day. Oh my goodness. Every time there's a hard hit on that field or you hear of somebody else getting injured. Yes. I mean, a matter of fact, I thought about that even before the season started, and we had that conversation, you know, about the risk, because you guys know he plays guitar and you also know that he plays the keyboard. And so he is very talented in those areas, and he is a huge part of our praise and worship team at our church. And to go down with an injury, with a broken arm or anything like that, was definitely a great concern before the season even started. But I also know that I cannot live life in fear, and you just have to pray and ask God to protect, and, you know, take it one day at a time. But yes, I hold my breath every time he takes the field, especially if you guys watch the vlog from, let's see, what night was it? We went to West Nassau. Thursday or Friday, whatever day that was last week, that we went and played the team that I told you guys was so vicious. I mean, they were being so, matter of fact, I've got a picture, or he's got a picture of where one of the students had grabbed two hands on his jersey trying to pull him forward down to the ground. Kristen was able to capture that shot at just the right moment. They were so aggressive. And that one made me very nervous the whole time. When I saw him get hit in the air and he kind of spun around and flipped a little bit, and I was like, oh my goodness. But I wouldn't make him stop playing. So no, I have thought about it though a lot. All right, next question. What was the most humbling moment recently that made you cry out to God and thank him? Nothing personal. That's a great question, because there have been a lot of things, especially within this past year, that have just made me so much more aware of his involvement in our lives every day, and that he sees our pain, he sees when we're hurting, he knows what we're going through, and he doesn't always stop those things from happening. And I believe there are a lot of reasons for that, and we can do that on the devotional channel one day if you guys want to hear more about that. But he doesn't stop the bad things from happening to us always. Sometimes he does, but there are times he doesn't, and there are reasons that he doesn't. But he's always there in the midst of it all, even on our darkest days. And I think especially probably within the last 6 months, we have had a few people that have really just reached out to us in this situation with our home that had just recently found out about what we were going through, that have reached out to help us and help us in this situation with our home, whether it's financially or whatever way. And that really made me stop and cry out to the Lord, because I got to be honest with you, there were days of complete frustration walking through this journey. And you know, when you go through something like that, and you know God's there, you still believe that God is right there, and you have faith, and and there were days that I just simply had to say, God, I know you know what I'm going through, and if it's okay with you that I'm struggling today, then I know that it has to be okay with me. But there were also days that you would say, God, why doesn't it feel you're coming through for us? Why doesn't it feel the miracles are there? And why is this such a struggle? You have very real human thoughts. No matter how much faith you have, no matter how positive you try to stay, and no matter how hard you try to keep your eyes focused on Him, you do have those moments where you question, God, where are you in this? There are times when relational issues can have strains, and you're like, God, where are you in the middle of this? But He's there, but your mind still has the question. And I think over the last few months, when a few people have really stepped forward to be there for us, to help us through some rough times with this house, it's made me stop and think, God, you've really seen it all along, and in your timing, and the gratitude that you have and that you feel. And I think another area that's probably made me feel that way recently is just some of the opportunities that have come for the kiddos and the blessings that have come their way, because our family has been through not only some tough times this past year with our home. I kind of talked about a little bit in a Cocoa and Cookies. Our family went through a lot of spiritual attack this year as well. Some things that had gone on and some events that took place in our church. And it was extremely, extremely difficult. And some of it was targeted at the kids. And we knew that it was a life lesson for them, and we knew that there was a lot that God wanted to show them and teach them, in a way to really root them in their faith, because you don't really know how much faith you have until you need to have faith. When things are always good, and when things just click along the way they should, you say you have faith, but the question is, do you really? Because sometimes you don't know if you really have faith until you have to operate in that faith. And I knew that's what God was doing in their lives, but it's still hard to watch those kind of things unfold and the attacks come, especially when the attacks are coming from adults towards children or young adults. They're not children, young adults. And that was hard, but when I watched God exonerate them, and when I watched God bless them in the midst of it all, because they handled themselves so well and handled themselves so maturely and did the right thing and made sure that they kept their eyes focused on God, and we kept open, honest communication about the whole thing, and I watched God bring reward back to them. They would show up at different places and people would just hand them a card that had cash in it, or people would hand them a card that just had very uplifting, encouraging words in it. Bub and his guitar thing that he has on Instagram has really taken off and exploded, and he's had companies contact him. He had a company contact him not too long ago wanting to send him a certain guitar case that it's like $300 brand new, and they said, we want to send you one. And it's just things like that where you see that God has brought the reward back in, humbles me. It makes me aware all over again that He sees it all. He knows it all. And even in the roughest spots, even in the hardest moments of life, when things don't feel they can get any darker, He is still there, and he's watching, and he's moving, and he's working. And if you will just hold on to your faith, hold on to your relationship with him, and trust him, eventually you're going to see the reward of it all. And eventually it will all make sense. And so I think those are the things over the last little while that has really brought me to my knees again and helped me to fall in love with him even deeper than what I already was. You know, sometimes you don't feel like that's possible. You feel like, man, I love God with everything I have. But then it's like when he does something else for you, it's like, man, a new wave of this love overtakes you that it's almost hard to describe it and put it into words. But yeah, I think those are the things that have humbled me the most and have helped me to keep my focus and to continue to trust even through the hardest of situations when things don't make sense, and those moments when you want to almost question, is he even there? And you know he still is. And yeah, that's a really great question. That's why I love these type when you guys ask me things every week, because you guys will ask me things that I probably never in a million years would think to talk about, and that is awesome. It is really awesome. You guys send me some great questions. So before I answer the last one on Facebook, let's just double check on Instagram. No new ones there. Let's double check over on Twitter just to see if by chance anything came in there. And nope, not finding one there. If for some reason you've sent one through Twitter, you got to use the hashtag #DeeVine DeeZine. If you don't use that hashtag, then I won't be able to find it. And yeah, nothing there. So the last one on Facebook is the toilet paper roll debate, over or under. That is hilarious. Over, girl, you know it. Over. I cannot stand to go and to use a bathroom where the toilet paper is under. I cannot stand it. Don't ask me why. It has to be over. I have even been known at people's houses or even in public restrooms occasionally, not often, but I have done it there too, to take the toilet paper off and flip it around because I cannot stand it coming under. It tends to unravel faster, and then you have a pile of it on the floor that's so gross nobody wants to use it. So yes, over. How about all of you guys? Comment below if you made it this far. Toilet paper, over or under? Let's see who wins this debate, shall we? Great question. These were so fun. I want to thank you guys so much again for submitting your questions to me this week and giving me a chance to share a little bit more of myself with you and to get to know you guys a little better, because even these questions tell me a lot about you, the things that you want to know, the kind of things that you want to know. So always so very fun on Mondays with the cocoa and cookies. But I'm going to get ready to go ahead and jump off of here. You guys hear this wind kicking up? My goodness, it is really doing a number out there. But I've got a lot to do. We've got a soccer party this weekend here at the house. The end of the season is drawing near. A couple more games and we will be done for this year. So we're going to celebrate with all the boys here with a big bonfire, and I've got a lot to do to get ready for that. So I'm going to go ahead and bid you all a farewell. I want to thank you so very much for joining me again today, and remember, you were created for purpose. So go and be all you can be. I'll see you soon in the next video.